I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a video today, but if we do, what's up? So I usually have a camera that I like stick on the glass, but it requires a certain SD card, which I cannot find, because that is the story of my life. The point of that was that I have this camera just sitting on my dashboard, and that's why it's moving. We'll see how this works out. Let's see how that works out. I don't think it's gonna work out. No! Damn. Okay. Oh, that is so much better. So today I wanted to talk about synchronicity, because about a couple of years ago, I went through a spiritual awakening, which, you know, was interesting. And it's been an interesting ride ever since that spiritual awakening. And yeah, you know, I remember when I was younger, you would talk about spiritual awakenings, and I was like, what is that? Like, what does it look like? And I always thought it was something that, oh, they just understood understood God better. Not so much. One of those things where I was gonna say it's similar to something that happens in life, and you're like, I don't know if it's happened to me, but it's one of those things where if it happened to you, you absolutely, no doubt about it, you will know that you went through a spiritual awakening. It's not like, oh, I think I did, or perhaps I did. No, you'll know. And it's something that shifts your whole life. But I said that all to say is that one of the things that I wouldn't say right after that happened, I started recognizing synchronicities, but I always was a person that believed in signs and believed in some sort of like patterns, but I never really, I mean, intuitively I knew that I believed in signs. Let's just put it like that. I believed in signs, but I never really thought too much into it. I always thought that things would be so clear and things like that. And it wasn't until something happened in my life that shifted. Once again, after my spiritual awakening, things shifted, and I started recognizing numbers that kept showing up, and I was like, this is strange. The strangest things were occurring, like serendipitous type of things would occur, and I was like, this is crazy. Like certain circumstances, coincidences. And one of the things, I'm a big Oprah fan. If you do not know, I just feel like Oprah is amazing. But one of the things that she said is that she doesn't believe in coincidences. And ever since she said that, I was like, I always wanted to learn more about what these coincidences really are. How you just meet people and strike up conversations with people in the store, perhaps, and they have something or they have similarities to you, or you end up working with them, or whatever the case is. It differs for whatever your soul's purpose is. But I thought that was just so interesting how things would happen. And the way that I was raised, especially with my mom, she definitely believed in signs, and so therefore I pretty much did too. But when I started recognizing numbers and seeing numbers, and I explored that a little further, I mean, you can find anything on YouTube, and I started recognizing and learning about what those numbers meant and how true what was occurring in my life at the moment was like mind-blowing. And ever since then, because of my awareness of these signs and synchronicities and numbers showing up in my life, I started using that as a compass for my life and what direction in which I should move. So I always thought it was, even to this day, I still kind of think it's strange. I do. I mean, but I always believed in signs, and I think that using numbers is a great sign to have in your life because it's very telling. But yeah, I always thought that you know, the synchronicities, and you always hear of these angel numbers that people speak of, how interesting it is and how true it is once you start becoming aware. And it's not even just like, okay, you see a number and you might look it up and it might not resonate, but if you go within, if you use your intuition and you really know what that number means to you, because everyone is an individual and are on different dimensions, so to speak, and so it'll differ for each person. But I mean, it's amazing once you start becoming more aware of those things and those coincidences and serendipitous things that occur in your life and things that you were thinking of, and it just shows up in your life. And once you start recognizing those synchronicities, those signs, they start showing up more frequently in your life as well. And then you can better navigate your way through this thing we call life, because you recognize this and like, okay, I need a shift, I need to modify, adapt, and okay, this is a sign for me to continue down this path and continue with this relationship, continue with this business, continue sifting through these emotions, even though I want to run so far away from the emotions that I'm feeling at this moment. And so yeah, it's a beautiful thing if you recognize it and you see it as being beautiful, I think. I mean, we all can always look at things differently. And so now I'm about to arrive at my destination, but I'm curious to know, have you ever experienced coincidences that you just knew could not be a coincidence in your life? Or have you seen angel numbers? Have you seen repeating numbers that you felt were signs telling you something? Very curious to know what your experience, or what your unexperienced, I mean, is it inexperience? Not unexperienced. Inexperience has been with angel numbers and synchronicities and things like that. It truly, truly is interesting once you learn about it and are open to perhaps it being something that is evident in your life. So I truly, truly think that God speaks to us in different ways. It might not be through numbers. That might not resonate with everyone. It could be through other people. That's happened to me as well. People have come up to me in the store, like a regular, like just a shopping trip, and have told me things because they felt called to tell me things, which at the time I thought was really weird. But it did ring truth to my life at that moment. And so I always feel like all those whispers that you hear, that's God talking to you. And God talks to us in different ways. It really depends on what resonates with you. And so it might not be through numbers, it might not be through people, it might be through song. Who knows? So, anyways, I'm about to go into the store. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And yes, if you're new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe and subscribe. So anyways, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you later.